Yeah, sure. In fact, we did both. So sometimes we did fixed price, and sometimes we also used time and material, so that billing by the hour or by the day. And it depends, or it depended of the customer, basically, of the customer, what they required. And if we had some impact on it, then we, as a consultant, we preferred to do time material when the project was risky for us, when we were in a domain that we didn't have too much expertise with. It was like the first project in that domain, or there were other risks. And then we tried to push the customer in the direction of time material. And when we had a lot of expertise, when it was like a project that we have done often in the past, then we tried to push into the direction of fixed price. Of course, then the risk for us was lower, and then the profitability for us was more important. Yeah, I think I would certainly still in the beginning focus on time and material, when you are still acquiring expertise and there's still some risk. That by doing a fixed price you might spend more time than expected, and that would hurt your profitability, of course. So that I would certainly do again. But I would always advise to focus on going into specific service offerings and doing only projects inside those service offerings as a consultant. And by doing that over and over again, you will gain expertise. These projects will become less risky for you, and then you are ready to move to fixed outcome and fixed price project, which is on the long term the most beneficial situation. I think it's because it's easier. Yeah, so it's the solution that requires less effort, and that means, of course, doesn't mean that it's the best solution. So with time material, you only have to agree on the daily or the hourly rate, and then at the end of the week you just have a timesheet and you multiply your time with the hourly rate, and that's it. It's very easy. With the outcome-based pricing or fixed pricing, the difficult thing or the challenge is to define the outcome. Yeah? To define exactly the outcome, to agree with the customer what will be delivered, what will not be delivered, and to describe it on beforehand. So that's why I think a lot of consultants still do time and material. Yeah, because in the definition of the outcome, especially when you don't have a lot of expertise or you don't know what the outcome exactly is going to be, it's almost, in some cases, almost a project on itself, just to define the outcome, especially with larger scale, complex projects. It requires a lot of investment, but again, as I said, when you have done the same kind of projects all over and over again, then you should have templates, you should have a clear idea on what that outcome will be for a customer. Yeah, I think that there's two things, in fact. The first is that the customer always expects an outcome. Yeah? Also with time and material pricing, they always have in the back of their minds both an outcome and a certain price. Yeah? For example, when you agree to, like a simple example, for a content marketer to write a blog post, and it's 600 euros per day, then if after 20 days the blog post is not yet finished, then the customer will obviously start to ask questions. So there's always implicitly, it takes 2 days, for example, to write, or 1 day to write a blog post of a certain size, also when it's time and material. So you have to define the outcome somehow, also in time and material. Otherwise you can have misaligned customer expectations and surprises at the end, which is not good for your business. So that's one thing, that's one risk. And the second thing is that what I've seen also in my consulting career, that by I call it obsessive focusing on customer work, that you forget to take a step back and to innovate, to make things reusable in your own work, in your own consulting company. We used to have the mentality that something with the customer had always priority on internal work. So that meant that that together with the focus on billability and try to bill as much as time possible and to maximize revenue, that implied that we didn't have enough time as a consultant to take a step back to see what we have done on. I mean, say that you have done 5 projects in a certain domain, to check what could be reused, to document best practices. So on the long term, that affects innovation negatively, and it can have the risk that that your performance starts to plateau as a consultant. Yeah, I think when you do outcome-based pricing, you can, when you apply efficiency improvements, it's actually beneficial for you, for as a consultant. When I was a consultant and I would go to my boss and say we have a project that takes 500 man days, and I have a magic technology or whatever tool that reduces it to 250 man days, and it's time and material, and my boss would say, what kind of a crazy idea is that? We will only be able to bill half of the revenue. So we will lose part of the revenue. So in order to come with innovative efficiency improvements such as digitization or other, you have to first go to fixed price, and then efficiency improvements will immediately affect profitability. As in a first phase, you need to do some projects in certain area to gain some experience, and you will see that the same type of deliverables, same type of activities, for example workshops with the customer, will be always repeated, not maybe in exactly the same format, but I would say 80 to 90% is about the same. You can document that, make templates, make also generic documents about the outcomes, the final deliverable for the customer, whether it's an advice report or something else. And then you can also check how much work it is on average, or typically, or depending on certain parameters, how much work it is to make these deliverables and to do these activities at the client. And when you have both, the outcomes and the work it requires to deliver those outcomes, you can go to the next prospect and you can say, instead of I'm going to charge you 800 euro per day, you can say, okay, this is a set of deliverables. You can anonymize it if you don't want, or if you're not allowed to show your previous customers. This is a set of deliverables that you're going to get. And this is the price that we ask for it, and then you have evolved to a fixed price model, and the customer will also like it more because the risk for him is also less. He knows exactly what he's going to get and what he will pay for it.
Well, that's a wrap. Thank you, Stefan.
Thank you.